This is a video New York session for 08 February. Now, it's New York session market movement analysis and education. So, first and foremost, I've highlighted the high of the day on this particular day, which happened before New York session time open. Tokyo's high, Tokyo's open, London's open, New York's opening price the low of the day before New York session movement. So we also have the opening price of the day right here. So in the basis of stuff, I want to find out on these significant points, how did the market react, right? Also, what we have here is the close of Tokyo. How did the market react during New York session, right? In these particular points. So the close right there of Tokyo, the market did react bearishly. In fact, one of the largest moves of the day came from the close of Tokyo's price. And then Tokyo's high price was traded at during 2:30. Let me just change the time frame so that I can get the time in South African so that I can also know what time I'll be using in this time of the day this side. Let's quickly judge. So we'll speak pips and everything later. Let's first discuss these price points. At 9:25, buying reached here and it was met with huge selling afterwards. That was Tokyo's high, right? So the high of the day wasn't really traded at. Then the opening price of the day, we saw selling. Again, huge move down, and yeah, these arrows are already true. Like there was a lot of reaction here at the opening price of the day, but yeah, the day was very choppy. So you see a huge down move, a huge up move. It was choppy, very choppy. Tokyo's open was where price was holding, right? In between the opening price and Tokyo's open, price was holding there. As you can see, Tokyo had some good influence this day. It had some good influence, right? Even though this time it did close above there, but it closed back in there and we see a bit of buying and then price dumped, not dumped, but it traded bearishly, aggressively. So Tokyo's open, something interesting, eh? Again, we see some move there. We see a move up, and then there's like reactions there. There's a reaction there towards the close of New York. So that settles Tokyo's prices. And then what was the low? What was first? Let's start with New York Open. So New York opens at 3 during November to March. So at the open, price moved up, and then we see it did react profitably to the upside from the open. And yeah, God has blessed me so much strategies, man, that like he said in the word, there is no room enough to store them. I mean, with all of these profitable systems, yeah, amen. So I accept I'll be able to use them. Be able to use them anyways with different, it's either with different accounts specifically or yeah, with one account. The more the strategies, the more the profitability from God. So anyways, again, though the market did close below the New York Open, it closed back above. It did see an attempt to sell and then pushed up. So again, we know that these significant price points that we have highlighted did result in like let's see, London's open price. Yeah, even London's opening price was just about similar to Tokyo's opening price. So now we're gonna go into okay, and the closing price for Tokyo was also, so we're gonna go into seeing what price points if these significant ones already mentioned are also a part of it, it's okay. What price points that on this specific Wednesday did the market react profitably to? And those FOMC minutes as well during this day. So New York session, the thing is, I have to fix this, but it's all good. New York session started this time, and the large moves that are like really good came from that are like significant movements. They came from Tokyo's Tokyo's closing price right there, just below Tokyo's closing price, just below Tokyo's closing price, and at Tokyo's open, there was a move down, right? And what is that price there? Yeah, whatever this price is, that is Tokyo's, is it? Okay, whatever that price was, is it a high of the day of yesterday or anything in that pattern? So looking back, nada. Nada. Which means nothing in Espanol. Nada muchacho. So yeah, there was a bearish move there in which I'm gonna find out in the future why. It was a huge bearish move. It was a huge bearish move. But what might have and what's significant about these price points? Oh, it's Tokyo's closing price. So Tokyo's closing price, a huge move down. Again, the other ones we have evaluated: Tokyo Open, also Tokyo High. So specific Tokyo matters during New York. So might be it's a significant price in the exchange or within the traders among the world who are like trading Nasdaq or the institutions or whatever whatsoever. So yeah, that sums it all up. Now, what I want to know is between all these significant levels, what was the average move positively that could be capitalized on, and also how far the price trade against uh, these levels before playing out, and if let's say from a perspective where I would be putting on a trade on confirmation or whatsoever. So right from the high of the day, we wouldn't really say a lot because New York session wasn't open then, but specifically from Tokyo, right? Tokyo's high after a touch there, the trading resulted in 117 pip move down, and it would mean that you'd have to be entering somewhere around there if you're waiting for like an M5 confirmation, and it would be 17 pips against before it moved a total of 50, 60 pips to the downside. And then at the Tokyo Open, right, a fake, not really a fake, would call it a fake out, but price traded just above and then back into Tokyo's Open, and it only traded against the idea 6 pips before turning over the largest move of the day, uh, which is 221 pips. That took how many minutes? 40-ish, 35 minutes ish, 35 minutes. And let's say from a point of capitalizing on it, you'd say it's a 4 pip stop, and then 168 pip move down in 15 minutes and some change. So we've dealt with I think we've dealt with this price. We're gonna deal with this one. So this one again, it's a touch of Tokyo's Open. Let's say we took a setup right there. Now price did go 40, 14 pips against the idea, right, towards the close, and then traveled 45 pips in the direction, a profitable direction from the Tokyo Open that time. We've dealt with this one up next. Yeah, there were times if you saw there you'd be out, so it's not that all perfect. And also, right here, let's say you would have sold, or even here you would have sold, then yeah, it would have went back up that quickly. So up next, even this area sold but went back up. Even this area sold but went back up. Sold at the opening price, by the way. My trading system, that was the idea there. It worked out at 5. This time, no. Why? Well, the stop loss didn't have to be that big. Did it really have to be that big? No. Didn't have to be that big. Could have been just uh even if it was 10 and then maybe 3 people, no, something like that. But anyways, right here against the opening price only moved 66 pips and then traveled 34, 33 pips to the downside. And there, these other ones are too choppy to really like properly see. And then this time price trade at only, let's see, but it moved back above, so we won't count that area. And these are like things that happened at the opening price. That was before the market opened. And let's see, in terms of a buying idea here, how far we're looking at. We're looking at 48 pips in stop loss distance size and a total potential gain of like 120 pips, which would have taken an hour from New York's opening price. And it was a choppy along the way. Choppy. Plays out and then pulls back, it plays out, it pulls back, it plays out, it pulls back. So some of those things I have to like realize, look, they will, yeah, plays out, pulls back, plays out, pulls back. So in terms of like trailing, is it necessary to trail or during New York? I suppose we're gonna find out as we investigate more and more. Again, a close below the low of the day at that point, and then a close back into it. So an idea, let's say you invested right there, right? It would have traveled like around 22, 21 pips against the idea before it worked out straight 140 pips, 42 pips, which it took 15 minutes. So in terms of like evaluating these ideas, we have like evaluated almost all of them. To the ones that didn't, I'm gonna remember. Here you would have bought the opening price, but it shrunk immediately. So let's say from this perspective, now the remaining things I'm going to answer is um, what was the highest and lowest medium volume in pips for this specific trading day, and yeah, at what times were these events happening, right? So let's say the ones that were like ultra profitable, and by the way, it took 30 minutes to move the exact same amount of pip buying versus when it took 50 minutes. selling. So no, selling it took 30 minutes, buying it took 50 minutes. So okay, the choppiness happened from the opening price, which was 3, until around 6. Prices 5, we can see a bit of liquidity. But yeah, the first 30 minutes until it was like 1:30, it was just choppy, 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 chop, 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 chop. And then, okay, the strongest move for the day was at 7 p.m. this time. It was 7 p.m. Strongest move of the day. Highest volume was 200 pips. And then at 7:30 again, strong volume 200 and some pips until 8:15. So the first 200 pip move took 20 minutes. 20, is it 20? It's 20 minutes and 25 minutes. Took 25 minutes. This one took as much as it took. Then where would the medium? Well, I would say the medium in terms of liquidity movement, you would say was at 5. At 5, that was the medium. And yeah, 5 to 6 had the medium movement. 5 to 6. And the slow, you would say at 9 until 11, until 10 minutes past 11, and also 3 would be the in between all of them, right? And yeah, that's just sums it up, sums it up, sums it up. In terms of what the trend was on this day, just gonna look back. So what was the trend prior to open? You'd say that the trend was bearish because the open was there, and the last day the trend, meaning that it was bearish the last day, and the day before it was bullish, and the day before it was bullish, the day before it was bearish. So the trend would overall would say that in the last day it was bearish, and even in the day itself it was bearish. Weekly, it'll take time to check. It'll take time to check, but we can check it out as time goes. And then yeah, we know that it was bearish towards, yeah. So the saying is that the one that resulted in the most liquidity and capitalizable move of the day, uh, you would say it was Tokyo's opening price. It resulted in the fastest move. So it was in 25 minutes that 200 and some pips were offered. And yeah, we can see 3 o'clock, that was the movement right there. 3 o'clock, that was the movement. From 3 to 4, yeah, that was the movement right there. 3 to 4. And then 4 until 5. Yeah, in fact 4 until 5 was low on this Wednesday, and then 5 was very strong. As we saw, 5 was strong, and that sums it all up. So let's say, how do, like, I spot a day that's possibly going to be choppy? It's something to think about. How do you spot a day that is going to be choppy? Maybe by 4 o'clock it hasn't gone anywhere, right? So by 4 it is still in the same place. By 5 it is still in the same place. Maybe that's a sign that you should just step up or risk one pair. So let's see next day what happens.